Hello my friends, thanks for joining me today. You might hear some parakeets singing and squawking because they are literally sitting right next to me. If they start to get a little too crazy, I will try to edit that out. Today I am sharing with you a Beauty and the Beast little golden book journal that I created. I'm trying to show you the back and keep it in frame at the same time. As you can see, I used this beautiful material on the front. I embellished it with some pretty green satin trim. This was a pillow sham that I added lace to and trim all around the edges. Now don't worry, don't worry, we still have the original little golden book cover. I really wanted to use this, but I also really wanted to keep this, so I did. So let's begin our flip through. Now I want to tell you that this may take a little bit because this journal is so full. Hold on, let me show you. It's so full of ephemera. You can see just how wide it is, and it's just chock full of ephemera. Much of it is vintage also, just so you know. This is a vellum pocket right here, and as you could see, this was a flip out. I have some trim here, and I did stenciling all throughout the entire journal. This is vintage newspaper from 1982 that I put on top of a piece of scrapbook paper to make a tag. Over here I made a fabric pocket with some beautiful trim that was gifted to me. I added some trim to the top and the bottom of it. And inside we have a piece of my jelly plate. Actually, I'm holding that upside down. And a pink envelope that I embellished with a sticker. And actually, I think this was from the sticker book that Cara Mia had just recently given to me in a giveaway that I won. And a little piece of, what do we call this? Stationery. This pocket was gifted to me from Penny's Crafty Creations, and you're going to see about 3 of those in the journal. I embellished it with some flatback pearls. This is a piece of 12 by 12 scrapbook paper that I folded in half, used my circle punch, and created pockets. You can see I've embellished it with some trim. We have some tags here, and also a little envelope with some scrapbook paper inside. This journal is 2 signatures. The story has been left intact. On the plain paper, you can see I went ahead and did some stenciling. I did stenciling throughout to create some cohesiveness, and then another piece of jelly plate. Here I have some torn stationery with a little stenciling and some trim. Over here we've got a fun little thing. So with fabric, this is Beauty and the Beast fabric actually. This was, I can't remember what this was, but I think it was meant for the garbage. Anyway, it was probably packaging of some sort. Decorative though, but I went ahead and turned it into a flip. And then a nice piece of stationery underneath. This is the beginning of the book. This is the very first page. You can see I did do some stenciling on it. I think on almost all of the book pages, I did stenciling in yellow, again, just to make sure everything was cohesive. This is a vintage pay stub, and it is from 1956. That can easily be written on this side. It can be embellished. You can use this as an art piece. There's a lot you can do with all of the pieces of ephemera that I put in here. This is a vintage library card. And this is Braille paper that I made a tag of. I did this on one of my Friday lives. Used napkin, music paper, and a vintage playing card. I'll put the small one in the front. Most, I'd say probably most, of the pages have lace on them. That would be the second page of the story, and here is some ephemera that I've stuffed into this pocket. You can see some lace here with a button on top. We did that on one of my live Friday things where I was working on this journal. This is newly acquired. I just found a deck of vintage cards. It was 2 decks actually. And she's on one side and Little Boy Blue is on the other side. And they're just beautiful. I love them. So happy I found them at the thrift store. Little side pocket with a ruffle that somebody sent to me in Happy Mail. If it was you, let me know. I'll be happy to tag you in my description box. It's just beautiful. I used several ruffles in the journal and obviously clusters here. Made those on one of the Friday lives. Here is one of the shrinky dinks that I made in the princess theme. Here's another cluster with a button and then also another one of the shrinky dinks. This is a rose. On this side is just another additional embellishment in case it flips. And I didn't want it to be plain, so I thought adding an additional piece would be nice. This is paper napkin. This is a vintage recipe card. And this is just a tag that I made using some leftover scrapbook paper and a sticker of Belle. Oops, this is one of the book pages that I've embellished with lace. This one I put some little shiny flat backs. This is a piece of my pink coffee dyed paper and I've embellished it with lace and a cluster that I did on a Friday Live. I think I did that with BB's Closet Creations. This is another napkin here, a nice ruffly belly band, a piece of jelly plate. This is a nice big tag that I made during the springtime, but the colors are so perfect, I thought I'd go ahead and add it. And this is the Little Boy Blue that I was telling you about. So both of them came in a double deck, vintage double deck. This is basically a fabric paper flip. So you can see we've got lace, music paper, and then paper to write on. And I went with blues because the page was blue and I didn't want to cover the whole page, so that's why I did it like that. Here we have a nice big piece of, this is like a giant index card. I cut it in half, did some stenciling on it, added some trim and this pretty shiny flat back. And this under here is napkin. Here I have a fun little attachment to a ball pen, and on the back of it is a yellow rose, and I did that to coordinate with the trim and the roses on this page. This is a double pocket. This is vintage newspaper that I just turned into a tag. And here's the small pocket up front. We have a little paper postcard, a vintage playing card with Norman Rockwell, a little tag with vintage newspaper advertisement, and just a little piece of scrap that I had that I just tucked in there. This is a belly band, and I used a feather and some blue flat backs. This is just a really pretty piece of paper, and somebody had sent this to me in Happy Mail. I'm sorry, I cannot remember who it was, but it's beautiful, and I think it goes lovely in here. And then here we have an envelope, and I added a vintage bridge score sheet. And this is actually, this envelope is for seeds. It's a seed packet envelope. And it has date planted, date harvested, and notes on it. And I did some stenciling on that. This is just a small envelope, and it just has a small piece of ephemera in it. And here is another belly band. And I put in a large postcard. And then a large tag that I made backed by the Braille paper. A little side pocket embellished with a button and lace and a die cut. It's just a tag that I made, or I don't know if we would even call it a tag. It's kind of bigger than that. And then a cute little card. Actually, this is a postcard. I forgot. I thought the colors worked well together. This is not a pocket. It just looks like one. And I have two of Rico's feathers here. That's Rico is the name of one of our parakeets. The other one is Minxie. We have another piece of, what do we call it? Jelly plate. And then just a really pretty piece of scrapbook paper put together. Actually, that's upside down. Let's hold it like this. There we go. Yeah. That's just the other side of the pocket, which was made with a 12 by 12 scrapbook paper. This is a card. It had an M inside, so I covered it with a really pretty piece of Tim Holtz wallpaper, and I did a little stenciling inside. These do rub when you open it, so it makes a funny sound, but don't be alarmed. This obviously has lace on it, and I also added some daisy lace over here, daisy trim. This is an invitation, and so on the invitation I added this hidden paper clip, and under it I just put this little tag. That could be moved anywhere because it's a hidden paper clip, so obviously it can come off. And here is the invitation. Isn't that neat? So that could be journaled in, or it could be, yeah, just have fun with it, do whatever. Oh, this is the beginning of the second signature. I haven't put my charms on yet, but I will. forgot to show you that this tag here has a little pocket in it. This is a hidden paper clip as well. And this paper came out of a Disney book. Here's another hidden paper clip here, and I used the shrinky dinks that I made to create that hidden paper clip. And this is a tag made with vintage newspaper. This is the other side of the hidden paper clip. Here's another shrinky dink. It's a red rose. It's a vintage book with French writing. Some lace and trim here. Some nice heavy trim here. This you can see I did some stenciling on it and used my teapot stamp. This is a pocket here and it wraps around here, so I just took a piece of paper and slid it over the page, left a piece sticking out just for interest, sort of like a giant tab I should say. I added a cluster. This is fabric here. I covered a sheet of paper with fabric, and I've loaded the pocket with a vintage check, a vintage recipe card, and a tag. Down here on the bottom is a grommet and a little shrinky dink here. And on the back of the shrinky dink I put lace, and there's also one of these cute little circle things. In this side of the pocket, well, let's talk about this cluster. This was given to me in Happy Mail, and I want to say by Paper Confessions with Karamia. Is that right? Yeah. I almost said her other channel name, which is her old one. But anyway, I think she's the one who sent that to me. I'm not 100% sure. And then I've just added some vintage paper here and a postcard that I had created and a tag. Here we have a doily that has been sprayed with ink and then also stenciled. You can see the same stenciling here. And this beautiful trim. Isn't it perfect on this page because it like goes with her dress? I love how that turned out. A little tiny doily just for interest. This is the center of the signature. I have another hidden paper clip here. Just put a little tag, nothing special. Some cute little pom-pom trim. Here's the other side of the hidden paper clip. And this piece I'm pretty darn sure was given to me by my friend Carol, over Crafted by Carol, and it is a pub in London, I'm sure. Well, let's see, in Sussex. So that's definitely England, I'm pretty sure. So I thought that was cool to put that here because I do believe this story is over in England. We have a pocket created out of fabric and that nice trim on it. This is another one of my shrinky dink clusters. Here's the yellow rose. And on the other side is pretty little cluster with lace and a button. Inside of the pocket, we have another piece of my jelly plate. So glad to share it. And then now I have room to make more. Another pretty envelope with some stationery inside. And you can see I stenciled that as well. A lot of details went into this journal, which was a lot of fun. I have another one of those pockets given to me by Penny's Crafty Creations. And I've just put in some tags. And then this one opens like that. Some coffee dyed paper that I stenciled. Green pom-pom trim. This is a nice flip out. You can see there's a cluster here, a nice big sticker, and a nice little die cut here. We open this up and it is an envelope, as you can see. There's some stationery here. Look at the back. Isn't it so pretty with the little flowers on it? And then this is just a plain piece of paper with torn edges and some stenciling. Over here we have the other side of the envelope, and I've used this as the flap. I added a little teacup here. I did go over that a little bit with my ink because it was almost a neon yellow, and I wanted to sort of pull it down to not be quite so bright. There's just a pretty tag and another tag. It says notes. And a vintage piece of paper. When people would take, I guess, typing classes back in the day, they would get these little packets of examples of how to write a letter, and I acquired a whole packet of them at the flea market, which I thought was a great find. This is one of the hidden paper clips, and underneath of it, it says table number on it, so I just thought that was a cute little addition. Some rickrack on the edge. That pretty trim that I love that goes with her dress so good. On this side, under the hidden paper clip, I just put a tag. Here's another one of the 12 by 12 scrapbook pockets. You can see I used some music paper, and then this pretty die cut, and then this wallpaper from Tim Holtz. And there's also some pretty trim right here. This is a digital kit. I don't know, it was given to me, so I don't know who created the digital, but I took that, folded it in half, glued it. Did I glue it together? Let's have a look-see. Oh, I didn't. So there, I don't know why I thought I glued that together. So there you go. And you can just open it up and do a bunch of writing inside. And then in this one is another one of my jelly prints. Over here we have a belly band that's made from a ribbon. And I just tucked this little tag. Here's another one of our Shrinky Dink roses here. This is the back cover. This is my maker's stamp. It says made by Creating with Jovi. And that's an envelope. And so whoever purchases this, I will put a little note inside. This is the back cover. And this is the back cloth cover. And there we go, my friends. This will be available in my Etsy shop if you love it. And I appreciate you coming over and having a look. Thanks for watching. See you soon.